Each step we're taking, we were made for this. Won't bow down, just no breaking. The way we live, stronger than we've ever been. Yeah, we've never been the risk 'cause we're taking. This is time to let it go. We
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Hawaiian Mint recap. Let's get our camera on. Hello, welcome back, everyone.
We're so excited we made it to
Yes.
first leg.
Yes, we
recapped
made it
that.
through.
And pretty much what we just want to do right now is,
Pick up where we left off.
yes,
It was a keep on racing. Exhaustion set in, and we kept on racing. We made it to leg 2.
Yeah, and on this leg two, we have to consider that there were 7 teams that did the horses, which was an additional just exhaustion, and then the heat, the humidity, and everything. So
Yeah.
it's just like we pretty much want to start there.
Yeah,
It
start
was
where
just-
we picked up, right?
Yeah,
In
I
Puerto
mean,
Vallarta, Mexico.
at this point, we reap our first envelope, and it happens that we're not getting any more money. So whatever money we had, that was about it.
Cesar had a very good idea. We kept our sombrero hat
Yep.
from the rodeo, and he was like, maybe if we hold on to it, we could sell it for some money in case we need it for the rest of the leg.
Little did we know, or well, no, actually we knew. That's why it's super important to know. And I think we're gonna mention it later on our tips for future racers. Why we didn't sell the sombrero. So we will get back to it at the end. Hi everyone that is joining right now.
Yeah, we got some racers in the house. Hey Mary, hey Rohan.
And just hi to everyone.
Yeah.
So pretty much we started running, and I see a statue with like these people dancing, so like folkloric dancers. So I just like say goodbye sombrero and or sombrero pretty much. Yeah, I had to.
We had to leave leg 1 behind us.
Yes, and just focus on the new thing. We started 5 minutes after Rod and Leticia.
Rod and Leticia left at 12:05, and we stepped off at 12:10.
So it was just really close. It's time to start just running. And what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna share a little bit of
we thought it'd be cool if we gave you some more visuals. We had a we
have our map, of course. We work on it. And we as well want to mention why it was so hard. Although it was the smallest distance, like compared to the previous leg. Although the distances were smaller, there was some confusion there. So the clue said, go to the Puente de la Iguana in Zona Romántica. What we see on the map is that everything that is like highlighted in green, all of that is the Zona Romántica.
Yeah, so everything south of the little island there.
So the island is on the edge of the Zona Romántica. So we saw Sean and Michelle passing. We saw that Juan and Shane like passed as well, and they ended up entering the island through here. So then the other confusing thing, hey Luis, the other confusing thing was that it mentioned a bridge. Well, all the 7 bridges.
Make it to the Iguana Bridge. There are actually like
7 bridges in the island.
7 different bridges on that island. So when everybody's like, oh, the bridge.
So we just start asking for bridges
on that island.
And the other thing, something that we made a little bit of a mistake was that because we had a map from the first part of the leg, we thought that we could find it. So
we kind of just like took off. We were like, you know what? We have a map, and I think we can find this Iguana Bridge.
Well, we found out that there's 7 bridges. So with those bridges, like
we made a little stop at each one and figured out, nope, not this one. Nope, not this one.
And that's why later we said like we had a hard time finding the bridge. Yeah. But once we made it, the clue was over here. First part of one of the detours was over here, the papel picado, and then the balloons, we can see them here in color. And then after that was the Lázaro Cárdenas Park, where we had to do the roadblock, and the pit stop was over here. So it was a lot of
so
back
everything
and
was
forth.
kind of like pretty close to each other, I think, in proximity. But I think just through the whole day, I mean, it was just so hot. I feel like our brains were like literally scrambled eggs. Like it
was a lot, and you see it, and
was a lot.
You see it with the teams that pick papel picado. That was just so challenging, just because of the fact that you're so stressed, you still are running, and like because of the proximity, we did see other teams. So when we started, we had like Rod and Leticia and Derek and Shalisa a little bit after us, and then 40 minutes after, Juan and Shane. So it was just like everyone over there, and over here we have like what Mary's saying. Okay, it was really, really humid.
What did Mary say? It was so humid. My maps and clues were crumbling because of the moisture. Yes, it was so hot. I mean, the humidity, and the sweat, just like we were dripping the entire time. And that little market, even though like it was covered, I mean, we're just like surrounded by water. So just the humidity, and like we ran across down along the water, and we saw the red balloons first. So we kind of like, we're like, okay, this feels like something. So we tucked down into that market. Yes, Miami. Yes, Luisa. Yes, Miami people know humidity is no joke. It's like you're swimming through the air.
So, I mean, we ended up making it to the club box at that point.
Yeah. Like, we got drenched making through that market, and
we open it and we see that it's a detour, and our detour said either balloon collection or color correction.
Yeah.
Color correction, we read through it. As you can see later, I read through everything really, really fast, that I might have missed some little details.
Something. But, I think for us, it was kind of a no-brainer to pick the balloon collection because we had passed everything.
Yeah, so
we had run through the market.
We entered the island through here.
Yes,
so we saw the red, we
balloons.
saw the purple, we saw the yellow, so we knew exactly where everything was.
Yeah.
And that's what it was, a no-brainer. We were like, we are collecting balloons.
We knew exactly where we needed to go back to collect them. The mistake was that we just grabbed one. But we corrected it really quickly, which I think is like
it
really
happened.
important.
It happened in the first part of the leg where we saw Rod and Leticia arriving to the rodeo, and that's what, like, because of the bright orange, we ended up finding the entrance. Another blessing in disguise was that as well.
Yeah,
we were so close that we saw them with both sets of balloons. So the detour said collect 300 balloons, 3 colors, 3 bunches of each, and that is what I missed. So once we saw that, we were able to fix it, but we just want to go as well through the rules of the color correction. So there was a set of papel picado, different colors, and they were all hanging. So the sequence could start anywhere on the line.
Well, this is your interpretation of the rules because no one knows what the rules were.
Well, clearly, Sunny and BC knew because they got it right.
Did Sunny?
They got it. They got it, and they get props. They were the only team that got it.
I'll make a phone call because I don't know that they actually know.
They got it.
They got it. They got it. But I don't know that they know. I don't think anybody knew. And I
love the image of like Anthony and Bailey and just like how cloudy everything was.
Yes, the imaging of like the fuzzy, like,
But it was pretty much just finding which sequence, which color in the sequence was wrong.
Is that it like continued. So it wasn't just that it started and stopped.
It could be shifted.
It shifted. So the continuation of the line is what made it challenging.
They had a great like approach because they said like if the pink is not in between the blue and the yellow, like there's something. So they were on the right path.
I feel like if we were doing it, we were just like kind of rewatching it. It was like, okay, you take these 4 or 5 and I take these 4 or 5. And if your 4 or 5 don't match up, then like, that way we're not looking at all 10 or 9 or
and the other great thing is like for the first team over there, which was BC and Sunny, like just they had 1 in 12 chances because they were at least 12 strings
higher.
Because on this detour had no limit. Everyone could do either balloons or everyone could do papel picado.
Yeah,
so their chances were
a little from the first leg where it's like you can only do
a little bigger. Well, and another thing we have to talk about it, like during this episode a little bit earlier, we were talking about our relationship and just like Are we ready for the next step?
Oh. Everyone, I got 1,000 text messages. Not 1,000, but I was like, oh my God, did you get engaged? No, we didn't get engaged.
But we have to say that part of the reason that we wanted to do the Amazing Race together was to put ourselves on this extremely hard situation and see how can we manage. And so far, I think we're doing good.
I think we're doing pretty good on the race. I think it's really key, like when you put yourself in these situations, to kind of like make sure that you keep a level head. We're both very competitive, so it's like, I don't know. I think,
well, you can see how competitive we were. But then there's two things that we want.
Well, the competitiveness kind of like came out. You can see when we passed Derek and Shalisa.
And with that, we're gonna bring this.
Hold on. When we passed Derek and Shalisa, they were like, "Hey, where's the clue box?" And we were like, "Well, we don't necessarily want to give you."
Yeah, sure.
They're an extremely strong.
It was team. Way less words than that. We were like, Joy, pretend that I wasn't listening something. I was like, oh. And then we just said,
I just said maybe next time.
No, you said, sorry guys, sorry, next time.
I said maybe next time. I think that's a valid response.
Why was this? This is a super fan, like either blessing or curse, right?
Yeah.
And we have been watching so many podcasts and recaps and all of that, and everyone has different opinions. Where we are coming from is like, all that we have to judge these other teams is what we saw them like.
It's the first day.
It's like what we're seeing them. How do they act? They were 12 minutes behind us. They could pass us at any time. So with that thought, we were just like, okay, should we share? Maybe not sharing. We don't
know what's going to happen the rest of the day.
We still have to do the roadblock, and we don't know where we're gonna go.
We just started 20 minutes ago.
And the one impression is that these two teams in front and back and like behind us are extremely strong and physically strong.
But not even just that, mentally strong. Like, to be like, for Rod and Leticia to pick the mental challenge, which kind of shocked a lot of people. Not what?
We have Mary here. I got chastised. Thank you. So it could be the different
there's different approaches to the game. Some people like, you see as like, oh, being too nice for helping or not nice enough. It's like, everybody's going to play their game, and we kind of went in with it like, we're going to play our race. We're going in to race our own.
And I believe we mentioned it on the first part of the show, the episode, that on the last part, we were approached by Karishma and Kishori, and like we also helped Sean and Michelle a little bit, but it was like, as long as it's not so close for it to change our rankings, and having this close call for first place,
it was very, very close. I mean, and we had just made a mistake, so it was like.
So now the other thing that I saw that it was being asked everywhere, it's what were the rules?
Why are you showing pictures of me bending over?
Because you were bending over to pick up the pop balloons.
Yes.
One big rule, and the confusion that was happening.
There was something that like we've been listening to like podcasts and questions, and they're like, why the balloon thing kind of seems straightforward.
You had to arrive.
One of the part of the clue part of the challenge was
arriving with 300 balloons.
300 balloons each, and if you popped, you had to collect them and return them to the
So here we're seeing Angie returning the pop balloons, and you didn't really see it on the show, but like everyone had to stop, otherwise it would have been penalized. We're talking that is like the first day on the race, and our fear to getting penalized was like, no, we're stopping for every single little piece. At some point, Ricky popped one that was like on a fence.
It was on the top of a fence. So I was like, I'm not leaving it behind. So I literally had to scale a fence to get the balloon piece. So and then when I got to the end, I like, shoved these balloon pieces into the guy's hand. And we weren't really sure what.
You just keep going.
You like have these thoughts in your head. It's like, it's in the clue. I've got to return these pieces, and that's that. And
we're like, really here you go. Okay, give us our clue. We're ready to go.
And we got our clue. So, we didn't think anything of it. And, looking back at it now, it could have been an environmental thing. The production could
Yeah.
have just said, you know what, we want to make sure we keep this,
But it wasn't only
you know,
that. It
environment
was
clean.
to make it as well as challenging as the papel picado.
And if you look at that market, everything's covered. You're going through trees.
At some point, there was a tunnel of plants like that. We had to be like,
yeah. Like, I mean, the covered, like the suspended bridge was linked, like
really narrow,
linked,
and so we have to go as well under those like street bridges. So it was more challenging than what it looked.
It was just carrying balloons.
And sometimes you might be stopping to pick up some balloon pieces, and you get asked for information, and
you have to.
Derek and Shalita, we love you at that point, and you make us laugh so much. That is another shout out.
Yes, they are just a hoot to watch. Oh my gosh, they're one of my favorites to watch.
Yeah, I mean, and then after that,
yeah. So after we finish the balloons,
we receive our next clue that it says go to Parque Lázaro Cárdenas, where I guess we were waiting for a roadblock.
And the run over there, it's not, and as you saw on the map, it's not that far, but by that time, I mean, the like last block over there, my calves, man, they just like seized up, and I was like, oh man, I need more electrolytes. I was like chugging,
and we saw how these keep on racing leg took a toll
everyone.
On absolutely
you saw
everyone.
Like the fittest of the fit to the people who were like average running, like
and we are average running, like we were going slow, but we were taking good directions. And that is another thing that we saw, for example, teams like Danny and Angie doing pretty well on this leg, taking the best directions and like making able to
sure they knew where they were going.
And we saw that
you have to be smart on a leg like this, especially with like the heat. And
we saw on Team Walla Walla's recap, like Danny did and Angie did not have a map, so just writing down all the directions properly, it's another thing that can help you, but you forget about it. Is the first day, the first two legs, let's say. And this is where I think, at least for us, was pretty good making mistakes, like the balloons, or like
I feel like the first leg, the first day is like you get out your jitters, and like we made some mistakes that day. Like the first leg we got lost, you know, this leg we didn't read the clue, you know, like
which is like the most obvious thing when you've been studying for so long.
Yeah,
everyone says read the clue, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Until you're in, you know, until you're in it. But
again, we said it on the previous leg, is just being observant on what is around you. So once we made it to Parque Lázaro Cárdenas, we entered through, I would say, the north side, or well, one of the sides of the park. And we were searching for the clue box. The clue box happened to happen on the other side of the park.
Through the park, and we saw the stations.
We saw all the stations. We did not know exactly what was it, but once again, we picked up about the balloons as we were running through the island, and now as we were running through the park, we saw all the stations. So we're like, okay, we sort of have an idea on what it is. It wasn't fenced. We weren't like violating anything. We were just like passing by.
They were set out. It wasn't hidden.
So when we made it to the clue box, we get our clue, and it says who got skeleton in their closet. And I think again was a really easy decision, just going for Ricky.
Man. I mean, you heard me, and it was like, I'm doing it. Like there was no there was no questions. I saw makeup containers, and I was like,
and later on we see him like talking about real estate on the
estate, and you know,
like how good he was. Easy. Did you see Derek's face as he was dripping? Did you see the twins?
It was not easy. Okay.
Did you see Sunny?
I take it back. It was not easy. It was definitely a challenge. I think with
exactly what Team Walla Walla is saying, it was perfect for Ricky.
Oh, there you go. Yes. It was perfect for me. Although I did say it, I am a perfectionist, which kind of hindered me in a way, because
we saw that with Ricky and with Amber, and like as well.
Yeah, you know, when you get in that zone and you're like, oh, let me get it and get all these details, and you know, you have to kind of think, okay, what's going to get me in and out as fast as possible? Let me get those checks as quick as I can. And
that was just
I think I had a lot of techniques going in that I knew, like, okay, block it out with the white, go in with the black, and getting all of that. And
so now to all of these, we just have to add the pressure that we know that we're on the front of the pack, that Brother and Leticia are across this park, and they're doing it at the same time. and I'm just like, Ricky, like they're almost done. They're almost done.
He's like, oh, don't worry. Just take your time. You're doing great. Like, oh, do you trust me? Oh, yes, or he was like, do you trust me? Yes, I trust him. Take your time. And then they go for their first check. He's like, all right, I know I told you to take your time, but now just could you hurry up? I'm like, all right, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down.
And we see it with other teams, like Danny as he was like painting Angie's face on the floor
with the tiny little Q-tip. I saw you, Danny, with the tiny little Q-tip. And
we have everything. So
I think there's an idea when you're doing a roadblock, and you heard other teams saying it as well. Mary, I think, said it. I think Melissa said it. One and done, right? You're like, okay, I just want to get it one and done so I can get out of there. But in that mindset, it comes with the perfectionism. So when you say one and done, that also means like it needs to be perfect the first time. So that can be the double.
And it can be a little harder as well when your partner has a beard and it has to be.
I know. Painted. Look here. Look at all this tiny little.
As a super fan, I have to say that, or I think it was on an older season where they have to shave their faces if they wanted to be painted. I'm trying to remember there.
They didn't have razors there,
which was perfectly fine.
I did have one in my bag. I could have shaved your face.
We're seeing here, Mary. My dad had the audacity to tell me to hurry up on it, and I come.
All right.
Yep.
Don't tell me to hurry. Okay.
So we saw all of that happening, and he did it. I mean, quite fast, but not as fast.
Yeah, I think if I had just kind of like powered through and just done it quickly, I had to worry about.
There is no better motivation than having a team like Rod and Leticia, or honestly any team, and we see it through the whole.
If had another team showed up, I would have been like, yes. All right, let's get out of here.
Yep. I mean, here we have something from a previous racer, Luis. Agree, Ricky. For me, I don't care how many checks I need. I just wanted to get it done and at least amount of work. Yes. And we saw it with Luis as well when he was building the card. Like,
and Jordan, I think, right? You like built it, I think you guys rolled it away and it fell apart.
But they put it away again together.
But no, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole other story. But yeah, having another team over there.
I mean, by the time we got to the pit stop, you were completely melted, so that didn't really matter.
And it was like itchy and everything. But we ended up finishing up right after running Leticia, and it was literally a race to the pit stop. And remember, Puerto Vallarta can be hilly. So it was just running back. We asked for direction once. We get it. Fun fact, as we were running to the pit stop, we see the twins approaching us. They didn't ask for anything. They didn't say anything, but I'm pretty sure like they were just like, whoa.
It was.
Whoa, bro. What did we just see?
It is funny because like the timing of that day, it just like, it was very, very weird.
So we did not see Rod and Leticia on our way over there. Later on we talked with them and they took the Puente de Iguana Bridge going up.
They went back, like they retraced their steps and went up the Iguana steps. Whereas we did not. We went, as you can see, like in the final clip of like when we're
Hey Logan, thank you for the comment. That's really cool. So when they went through the Iguana Bridge,
you can see they come up the main street
under the bridge, and we were just like behind
it. We came up behind Phil.
So it was pretty much 2 minutes. That was about it. When we arrived, like the music was about to end.
Yeah, I don't even think he had announced. I don't even.
No, he still hadn't announced it. So yeah.
So that's how like close.
So 2 things we want to mention over here is like. They were excited about the trip.
They were. I know that it doesn't really look like it after they announced because everybody was extremely tired. Yeah. But they were very excited. Like we did all celebrate on that.
Second thing we want to talk about, Ron he was ready for a fist bump and we were not ready. So this is the very last frame that they showed. Yes. After that, we did fist bump.
We did
not realize. And it was just so funny because we were so focused listening to Phil.
Yes.
Also, another thing, we were focused on what the greeter was wearing.
Yes.
That was another thing, but we'll talk a little bit about
that later. We could just talk about it. Yeah. That's another like when we were at the
for
pit
future
stop,
racer. Okay, for
we
future
were like,
racer tip.
we were looking at the greeter. So like we were like, so that's why we didn't necessarily catch like him throwing the high five or the fist bump,
Yep.
because we were like, we were listening what Phil was saying. We're watching the guy playing the guitar.
And that is
like,
our greeter right
right.
there.
So like we were we were, yes, celebrating, but we were also like studying.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
there
yeah.
was a lot going on
But
at that moment. But
big shout out as well to Ron and Leticia. Like this leg was
Yeah.
extremely fun. Running it next side
to
to side
them,
with
and
them.
they've really
and,
like, they did
and-
great sportsmanship. They've really like, they pushed us as well, because we wanted,
we wanted that first.
Yeah, like,
we were
wanted to
so
get
close. We
first.
were so close.
They really wanted to get first. They
And
knew we were right behind them.
it just made it extremely fun.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much what happened on our side of the story.
Yeah.
All the teams did great. We really enjoy watching everyone, because as you see, like our time on this leg finished a little bit earlier, so we did not know a lot of what happened after. So we just enjoy watching everyone's story, like what happened, how it happened. And of course, like this week we have some highlights that we just wanna. This week the highlights are phrases, fun phrases that the racer said, and that we just enjoyed watching, and we want to share with you as well. Like, let's see. And as well, if you have some other fun lines, if you're watching live, drop them in the comments. If you're watching later, you can as well like leave it down there. Yeah. And we're just gonna share with you. Give us one second
some, like,
as we get it.
some fun quotes.
Okay, and here we go.
Do I trust him? Yes, I do.
She said, Mom, this can be firefighters too? Yeah.
I said take your time. Now I'm saying
Okay. Well,
hurry up.
Stop sweating. Messing up my makeup.
I gave you all the action I could today, so don't ask for no when we get back to you.
Probably harder than childbirth, yes, Mom, or no? Not yet?
We'll see at the end what comes out, right?
Hold it up. You're like 7 feet tall. You're like Shaq. Come on. I'm like Shaq. We don't need the ladder.
Phil,
No.
What do you mean, no?
We're eliminated?
No.
Okay, so
Who said you were eliminated?
We love all of this. We love our cast. We like.
gosh.
I honestly like. Although these like might have been
So
a little
good.
short on the side, like the cast made it awesome.
I
Like,
do.
it's
Yes.
just, we love everyone. Yeah, Angie and Leticia made me cry out.
Yeah, just like all the quotes.
And
like this,
Let me
like,
tell you, it was
says.
hard to pick the right ones, because like when Chris was saying like, yeah, I don't do my makeup at home. That one was
Like, Yeah, probably not.
and it was fun. It was
Yeah,
really enjoyable
yeah.
watching
I
everyone.
loved hearing Busy. Like, I think Busy's delivery on like how she talks is just funny. But then like, oh, like guys can be firefighters too. Like, just so funny. Like, just the way, and like look at like just the way like Sean and Michelle like celebrate like their energy.
And also, again, we love the interactions with Phil. Like seeing teams interact with Phil and the way that he reacted. This one was probably one of the best like greetings to the pit stop.
I think the cast really made this episode like
so
pop,
cool.
like pop, unintended.
Karishma and Kishori called this episode like the chaotic episode.
It was
which actually
definitely chaotic, but it was fun. Like it was pretty straightforward. I think the challenges were, it was straightforward, but I think it being the second leg, we really got to like meet everybody. We got to understand their personalities a little bit more, how they interact with each other. We got to see like, maybe a little bit of tension here and there. Like you got to see Anthony and Bailey, like the competitiveness, but like Anthony and Bailey's like communication skills as brothers, like all of these like different things. It was just it's really, really nice.
It seems we are really sad to see Mary and Chris go. Again, one more super
redemption season.
Yeah, we're hoping for that. We have been hearing here and there, like maybe Annalie might be like a good partner for Mary. But yeah, we're really sad. Sadly, this season we're seeing the super fans drop like flies, and we are super fans, so we're hoping we're not cursed. We will see. We just
No
have a little
curses.
bit more. We have. Can we see
what's
this
this?
picture?
Oh.
We just want to show another of my drawings, of course, because I'm so good at drawing.
Oh, you're
not
a great artist. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, sure. That's what he's saying, but it just
Look at
yeah,
this. Look at this.
Look at this.
Beautiful.
We also did the Mexican currency. We just wanted
so
to...
that was another thing that we took notes on in our thing, and we can, just make sure that we are taking very detailed notes of everything. So we took note of the greeter on the first 2 legs. We took note of the currency that we had. You never know how far you're going to make it. You never know if you're, what the challenges are going to be later in the legs. Just trying to make as many, just one good catch.
Yeah, we're reading here over Logan's comment on just something it was a leg fully on foot. So just having a cab ride, it could have changed everything. We did see some swaps on the order as they started.
There were a couple of swaps.
We love seeing Danny super excited at the pit stop. That was really cool as well.
I don't think they realized that they jumped that far.
Yeah. So finally, we have our tips for future racers. Do you want to go first?
Tips for future racers. What was my... this kind of goes back. This goes back to the roadblocks, when you're in that tunnel vision perfectionism, trying to just focus on that one task. You kind of forget to my first tip from the first episode was be aware of your surroundings. When you're looking and you're what are the judges looking for, right? So if you're so focused on what you think is right, it might not be what the judges are thinking. So, looking around okay, they just got to check. What did they do? That got them the clue that I could have done. So for instance, Leticia got the check before us. I could have looked over and said, oh, hey, she did it like that. Maybe there was something I was missing. You saw Derek and Shalisa, they actually put the flowers on the hair. We didn't put the flowers. That could have been something that I was missing.
It wasn't on the clue,
it wasn't
but
part of
it. Could have
it wasn't
been
part of it, but it could have been.
And we have seen it as well in other things that is maybe a needle in a haystack, someone need to find something, an envelope as something.
Yeah.
And if you look what they have in their hands, let's say Kim and Penn, when Penn was at the mail tunnel, whatever, he has a piece of, he has the clue. So if I'm just arriving and I see him with the clue in the hand, it's a good thing.
Right. It's
just be aware of what the other teams, if there are other teams in the roadblock.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great tip.
Don't be so tunnel visioned.
As for my tip, it's going to sound so repetitive because absolutely everyone says it. Read your clue, but it's not only read your clue, it's understand the clue and take that extra 30 seconds or extra minute to read and comprehend the additional info. You get a whole page with additional information. In this case was the balloons. Pick up 300 each, one set of each color.
Yeah, I think what it is, it's not just read your clue, it's comprehending the clue.
Another thing that we saw in this episode is that the clue is said, go to the Iguana Bridge on the Zona Romantica. A lot of the teams were asking for the Zona Romantica, so they were sent to the neighborhood, but not where the Iguana Bridge was. So if you think about it, it's a neighborhood and the place that you have to be.
Yeah.
So ask for the place that you have to be specific, be specific, read and understand your clue. That was one. And I just want to go back to the sombrero. What happened to that sombrero? I could not sell it because it was something that production gave us. It wasn't purchased with our money leg. Let's say, for example, Derek and Shalisa got a map, a free map. They could have sold that map because it wasn't given by them for production. They could have sold it to a tourist or as a souvenir or, hey, this is it, because they got it not from production. So sadly, I had to say goodbye to it, and I was not going to carry it if we made it to the next leg, which we ended up making it. So that is my other tip. If you purchase something,
it's kind of a funny thing because you don't think about it when you're racing, but there have been past seasons where you run out of money and it's well, what do you do? But you can actually you can.
And the other thing with Puerto Vallarta, as we saw in the episode, there were a lot of tourists, a lot of American people with dollars, US dollars.
Yeah.
If you could have gotten some US dollars, it doesn't matter which country you're going. Most likely it's going to be a little bit heavier than having Mexican pesos.
Yeah.
That you could like, it might be a little
currency
trickier.
exchange.
Yeah. So pretty much that was this episode's recap.
Pretty quick.
Pretty quick. Yeah.
Episode.
Quick as us on this episode.
Yeah.
Yay! We did good.
We moved pretty quick. I was very proud of us this leg, coming out of like a keep on racing and being able to kind of like push through and get second place. I was very, very happy with our
we did have our struggles, as you saw. Like we messed up a little bit, but we were quick to fix it. Those trees, those fences carrying the balloons, that was really hard. And the other thing that we loved about this episode, and that they showed it, is when we were almost at the pit stop, and I'm like getting a little emotional. It was like Ricky was completely drained. Like he had nothing in the tank. And I just keep going like, we're almost done. When we're done, like we're sitting down. And I like when we were going that uphill, we hoped that it was right there. But I was like, hey, hold my hand. Like, let's do this together.
Okay. Like drag me up if you have to.
But it was just
hard.
It was really hard. But
my
finishing
legs were
together,
done.
It's really like, it was really special. It was really, really special.
It was that last 5 minutes. Yeah, you were like, I just need 5 more minutes.
Yeah. And that was
like, that's it. I just need 5 more. And I was like, okay. I hope you're right, because that's about all I have left.
Yeah.
And thankfully he was right.
And it happened right there.
And it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna have another recap next week.
Next week for
in Colombia.
It's
gonna be so fun. So if you wanna see it and stay up to date with what we're putting on our channel, like it, subscribe it, all those things. I don't know. What else do you say on this?
That's it. Yeah. Like it, subscribe it, and put up the.
If you have another
notification.
Here, let's see. Love the recap. I cannot wait to see those steps. Oh, those steps.
Yeah. Look, if you have
Paramount Plus, like there are already some extra
spoilers up there.
Yeah. Rohan over here.
What is the rock called?
The Peñón.
Peñón.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That giant boulder in the middle of Guatape.
So it's gonna be fun. Come back next week. We're gonna have a little bit more of this. And I hope you're liking it. We love the cast. I hope you're loving everyone as much as we're doing. And we will see you next week.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks, Mark.